Inside the room, inside the room. Kamini Ben, you sit there. You sit. You sit there. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Pranam, Pranam. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Pranam, Pranam. Where do we begin? As we said yesterday, today Probably, it's not the last day. In this session, probably this is the last day. From 24th, tomorrow onward, we will have the centenary program, which will start at about 3:30 in the afternoon and may go on till 5 or 5:30. And from day after tomorrow, there will be a morning session, forenoon session, as well as afternoon session. It may go on till 31st. First and second, we don't know whether it will be possible for us to do that. We will see. So what is most important is to somehow consolidate our earnings, whatever we have done, so that we will be able to closely associate with whatever deliberations that are going to take place during our satsang period. Param Pujya Swami Padmanabhan Ji had already arrived here. So every day morning he will share some thoughts about the different facets of sadhana. Evening we will try to touch upon certain points culled out from our in-depth study. Arrangements are being made for live streaming, so that those of you who are not in a position to come can also have the benefit of the program in your own place.
Pranam Swamiji.
Pranam. In order that we have some more clarity on Papa's approach to spirituality, we will read out one article of Papa. The human being is gifted with reason, which can be best utilized by him to develop a keen aspiration for God, backed up with intense dispassion to sense enjoyments. The human being is gifted with reason, which can be best utilized by him to develop a keen aspiration for God, backed up with dispassion for sense enjoyments. Now, what is the aim of life? It is happiness. This cherished aim is fulfilled by realizing God, who is eternal happiness. The pleasures I derived from the objects of the senses were not only transitory, but were also accompanied by pain and grief, a fact I came to know too well. So I engaged myself in an all-round effort to divert the mind from the ephemeral objects to the eternal source of life, God. The pleasures I derived from the objects of the senses were not only transitory, but were also accompanied by pain and grief, a fact I came to know too well. Even while indulging in the enjoyment of sense objects, part of the mind was telling him. So I engaged myself in an all-round effort to divert mind from the ephemeral objects to the eternal source of life, God. God, who is absolute existence, consciousness and bliss, is within me. Withdrawing the mind from the unreal, that means the external things of life, I let it flow continuously towards Him through a steady remembrance brought about by a ceaseless chanting of His holy name. That is why in a couple of years he could scale the heights. Whereas we have been doing it for decades now, Very important point for all of us. God, who is absolute existence, consciousness, bliss, is within me. Withdrawing the mind from the external things of life, I let it flow continuously towards Him through a steady remembrance brought about by a ceaseless chanting of His holy name. Chanting is for remembrance. Constant remembrance purified and controlled my mind. God came to me as my Guru and awoke me. I found then my God in the heart as my own self. God is my teacher. I speak to Him as such. He taught me many things from time to time. He is now too my guide as He was in the past. Now the mysterious grace of Guru, which awakened me in the first instant to see God, completed its task by removing the mask of ignorance which enveloped my soul for ages, with the result that a flood of illumination poured out, permeating my body, senses, and all the worlds. God came to me as my Guru and awoke me. I found then my God in the heart, nay, as my own self, capital S. God is my teacher. I speak of Him so much. He taught me many things from time to time. He is now too my guide, as He was in the past. Now the mysterious grace of Guru, which awakened me in the first instant to see God, completed its task by removing the mask of ignorance which enveloped my soul for ages, and with the result that a flood of illumination poured out, permeating my body, senses, and the world. God taught me how to avoid pitfalls on the path of sadhana or spiritual discipline, and how to overcome temptations. First, He made me use reason. His voice admonished me. I became His faithful pupil and surrendered myself to Him. The teacher and the pupil fused into one. Now I implicitly obey Him. In this, God taught me how to avoid pitfalls on the path of sadhana or spiritual discipline, and how to overcome temptations. First, He made me use reason. His voice admonished me. When I became His faithful pupil and surrendered myself to Him, the teacher and the pupil fused into one. Now I implicitly obey Him. In this splendor, my soul was lost, individual. By the dawn of the cosmic consciousness and the knowledge of my still and all-pervading Atman or Self. Yet another vision, more exalted, more perfect, and more joyous, awaited my illumined self. And this is the fusion of the Atman with the universal manifestation. In other words, I realized that the Atman and the universe are one. This magnificent vision and experience, based on the realization of the Absolute Self, transformed me, the human being, into a veritable embodiment of God in all His aspects. This side, please. As my soul stepped from the animal to the human, it now stepped from the human into the divine, the Purushottama, a spiritual cum physical evolution, the grandest finale, the supreme fulfillment of God's will to reveal Himself in His sublimity in this human being. Verily, God is the seeker and God is the sought. This is His inscrutable Leela. My soul, truly my soul, God, Jiva and Brahman are all one. Yet, the highest spiritual possibilities are not exhausted. The sweetest and the dearest relationship with Him, near and personal, which I maintained all along the initial stage and aspiration, has at present become real, intimate, permanent. He is now my constant companion, as a careful mother and a beneficent master. In the face of man, beast and bird, nay, of all creatures, things also, I behold Him, my beloved, again all victory to Him. So how God came into my life. This is what Papa writes. Probably in this article he uses the word for I, no? So discrimination between the ephemeral and the eternal, that was the first step. Then I slowly started withdrawing from the ephemeral and then directing the entire faculty or capabilities to remember Him, to remember the eternal, for which he chose Nama. So he was very clear, not merely chanting. Chanting was for remembrance, remembrance, remembrance. Every time, whenever guidance is needed, he was looking up to Him who is inside. That is why he says God and Guru are one. God is within me, Guru is within me, so God and Guru are within me. And during the journey, he was blessed with vigilance, alertness, that helped him to avoid all pitfalls and temptations. And as he started going within, the sense of individuality became one with the cosmic consciousness. That means when the thought was not there. Just like in the deep sleep state, there is no otherness. Nobody is there to tell us. But a witness is there. But in sleep, during that sleep period, the awareness is not there. But here we have been promised that there will be awareness. Awareness absolute, not awareness of. And then, when that was done, slowly the postgraduate, PhD, that means not only to see Him within, but also to see Him without. After that again, though he was able to realize the indwelling and all-pervading Spirit, Still he was able to maintain a personal relationship with the Almighty, treating that power because of which the sense of individuality exists as mother and master. There he ends. The highest spiritual possibilities are not exhausted. The sweetest and the dearest relationship with him, near and personal, which I maintained all along in the initial stage and aspiration, has at present become real, intimate, permanent. He is now my constant companion. And has at present become real, intimate, permanent. He is now my constant companion as a careful mother and a beneficent master. So this is the spiritual journey. So it is becoming clearer and clearer to us unless and until the priority is shifted. We will not be able to move from the ephemeral to the eternal. The different stages have been beautifully brought out by. Though we have been outwardly feeling that we are on the spiritual path, we have not been able to derive the fullest benefit because our mind space is occupied by more and more of ephemeral objects. How to substitute with God thought is the toughest challenge before all of us. For that, what should be undertaken, each one of us have to decide how to keep the mind space more and more for Him. Yes, anything else?
Swamiji, we have to imbibe the teachings of Papa.
What do we do for that? Let there be a work plan, no? Hearing these, we will say, we have to do this, we have to do that. But what is the plan of action?
Shift our priorities.
Trying to lead a simple life, try to feel content with what we have been provided with, try to remember Him through any means. Some plan of action should be there, not hearing. We will forget after this session, we will forget these words. Because I backed up with, you remember he mentioned that withdrawing the mind from the external things of life, I let it flow continuously towards Him through a steady remembrance brought about by a ceaseless chanting of His name. So this backing up, that means how to improve the quality of our chanting, Apart from trying to lead a simple life, contented life, We are leading a righteous life, no doubt. But whether it is simple, whether it is contented, only each person will be able to evaluate. And then whether we have been able to direct the whole thing towards Him. That means that when the quality of chanting, when it is improved, probably we may be able to feel more and more nearer to Him. So what is required is, all of us have to mentally prepare a plan of action. The whole year, the in-depth study of In Quest of God has given us so many clarity on so many aspects of the spiritual journey. We are doing also so many things under the banner of spiritual discipline. So now we have to improve the quality of the same. For example, when we hear bhajan, previously we were enjoying the tune, the artist's voice, the voice of the artist, the accompaniments, and then we enjoyed. It gave us it relieved us from the routine thinking, which we call it as joyful. But as soon as the program is over, everything is intact in us, the me and mine is intact in us. So now we understand that we should also follow the sahitya, the lyrics. Because when the evolved souls, when they composed, it came out from their experience. It was not depending upon any of the other prefix or suffix. So when we concentrate more and more on the lyrics, the theme will go to. So that is how we improve the quality. And Nama also. That He is inside, He is making me to chant. If He is making me to chant, He is definitely making me to do everything. So that is how the remembrance stays. So quality in our spiritual discipline. Satsang, for example. Whenever God facilitates us to hear anything, we simply don't hear and go. We listen to it. We absorb. We try to assimilate and absorb. It will surely be with us. And it will have its positive impact on all our thoughts, words and deeds. So again, quality in hearing the satsang. Swadhyay. Every time when we go through a book, the wisdom teachings of the masters or shastras, we don't just read it. We try to connect it up with our own life. Then it gets stamped in our heart. Thereby we slowly try to improve the quality in Swadhyaya. Pilgrimages. Nowadays we go, active programs, as if, to sign the attendance register there. Instead of that, before going to each place, we will try to see the Sthala Mahima there. There will be empty number of anecdotes of devotees who have derived the immeasurable or innumerable benefits from their devotion to that particular deity. Suppose our mind is filled with that. Yesterday, as we said, we will not be seeing the Vigraha, but we will be seeing the deity who is in our heart, who has come out in the form of that form, and it will be a source of inspiration. So quality in pilgrimages. High time for all of us. Many of us or most of us are in the evenings of life, so we have to do something. So in-depth study of Inquest of God is pointing out this salient aspect of improving the quality of our various spiritual disciplines. Luckily, God has been kind enough to put us on those disciplines, and a stage now comes we have to improve the quality. Qualitative enrichment. Anything else comes to anybody's mind?
Swamiji, we should respect other faiths and religions.
Other faiths and religions must be respected.
First of all, we will try to understand this, A clear-cut understanding of Sanatana Dharma will help us to respect every faith. So what is needed is an intense knowing of Sanatana Dharma. That is the ancient wisdom handed over to us by rishis. So first we will try to go through. And automatically, it is not limited to any particular place or a people. It is open to all creation. So it is universal. So any Mahatma who has revealed this through any other method will be respected. We are not doing to respect any faith. Our own, as somebody beautifully pointed out, if I love my mother, I will be really, not the attachment to the mother's body. If I really love my mother, I will be able to understand the love of anybody towards the mother. If I don't develop the real love for my mother, I will not be able to understand the love of anybody to their mother. So first of all, we have to develop this, We have to go deep and deep into the Sanatana Dharma. Nowhere you will find any denomination there. It is universal, it is cosmic. So automatically, we develop respect for all faith, everything. But we don't have to do it in the initial stages. Then it becomes, we have not mastered. This should be the outcome of our sadhana, When the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha, that I stands for what? In all places, at all times. Remember me and fight the battle of life. Absolutely universal, Remember God and then react to events and individuals in our language. God, who is the creator, who is the sustainer, who is the destroyer, who is the embodiment of all values, that impersonal aspect of God. So that automatically it will become universal. Anything other than that will be superficial only. All our Shanti mantras are for Sarvesham Shustir Bhavatu, So everywhere you will see that. The Sanatana Dharma stands for the universal aspect. So if we try to go deeper and deeper and deeper into it, we have been assured by all Mahatmas who have scaled the heights that we will be able to embrace the whole creation. Anything else?
Swamiji, a burning desire.
A burning desire to realize.
Only Him, nothing else.
He has given us all the methods. We should take to some resolves, vows that will remind me of the urgency. Even when we were using this firewood, every now and then we have to use the smoke pipe, to keep it aflame. After some time the ashes will be there and it is likely to extinguish. Immediately we go there and do this. So that is needed. Just because we have lighted it, we are keeping quiet. After some time, the tempo will not be there. So every now and then, for that some vows are necessary, absolutely necessary. Resolves. That will remind me. So each one has to find out, suiting to his equipment. You are right. Burning desire should be there. Now it's a lukewarm desire, unknowingly. Though we want burning desire, because somehow the desire is there, no doubt. But along with everything, God is also there. That is the problem we are all facing. How to make it exclusive is the toughest challenge before us. So for that, we have to improve the quality as we outline now in all our spiritual discipline one by one, plus make some firm resolves.
If our examination performance has to be excellent quality, our preparation should be thorough and flawless.
Yeah.
And then second thing is, even after completing the writing the exam, 10 to 15 minutes is allocated for revision. Revision is also equally important to check the quality.
You are right. Absolutely right. Because through revision, we may be able to find out more and more important points. That is why we are asked to revise. First reading, second reading, third reading. Even in our legislature you will find, when a bill is introduced, nowadays we don't know. That was the spirit behind the lawmakers. In Malayalam we say, Onnam Vayana, Rendam Vayana, Moonam Vayana. Because in the first reading we may not be able to cover everything. Second, we may be able to get something more. In the third, we may get something more. So the refining process comes only by repetition. So revision is necessary. These are all methods, yes. Whatever method we employ to score 90 plus, the same method we have to employ here also. There is no separate method. There I am very clear, I should score 90 plus. I prioritize so that all other things becomes sideline. Even if the food items are kept on my table, I may not even eat. I have to complete that portion. So prepare myself well, go through it again and again, and then sit for the exam. At the time of writing also, something original will come out. Because nobody is there to help me, neither the text nor the teachers. If my assimilation level is too low, I will not be able to remember. So many things are there, even at the time of going through the text, hearing the teachings of the teacher, and then coming back and doing the homework, and then in revising it, and periodical evaluation like monthly test or quarterly test, to know where I have, which are the areas where I have to improve. And finally, I qualify myself to sit for the final exam. And the confidence will be there. I remember one incident. A very young man, who had appeared for BSc AG, He had appeared for the exam, came back. Suddenly there was an advertisement by a company, they have got tea estates. They were recruiting assistant managers, fresh from college. An assistant manager will be in charge of 1,000 to 1,500 laborers. He will be in charge of 2,000-3,000 acres of tea plantation. A lot of infrastructure is there, and he has to have a look, and he is answerable to the manager. Tough job with zero experience. So this person, who we know very well, he appeared. The result has not come. He appeared for the interview. The panel people asked, "Your result has not come. How can you say that you are a BSc AG?" He said, "I am confident. With good marks, I will come out. I have done what is to be done for the preparation of exam." And you know what happened? He was selected. Then only the result came. That much confidence, we have done the preparatory steps in such a way, we have written the exam. He is confident it will be 90 plus only. That comes back to us now. This must have happened in 68. But that person's coming and telling us, "Are you confident?" 100%. So he knows now. He knew that he had diverted his entire attention. Just now we read for the actualization of the ideal. The commitment was there, and he was successful. So we are expected to follow the same lines. So the shifting of priorities, concentration, contemplation, inward journey, at the same time ensuring that our outer activities are conforming with what we wish to achieve.
Be vigilant also.
Vigilant.
Absolutely vigilant. Absolutely vigilant. The other day he said, Kurmangani was, when we were discussing, we have to immediately withdraw, What is not to be seen should not be seen. What is not to be heard should not be heard. What is not to be tasted should not be tasted. What is not to be smelled should not be smelled. What is not to be touched should not be touched. The sense, he said, the transitory nature, the transient nature of the sense objects. How do I control temptations? He said, how do I control? Vigilance is necessary. At the same time, I should ensure that I should not look down upon anybody who is leading any other type of life. Because that will only kindle the down-pulling tendency in me. So while holding on to these values or disciplines, I should ensure that I should not look down upon any other person. Because God is in him also, so he may have his own reasons. And we take it as a test meted out to us by him through persons or individuals or situations or objects. So,
I didn't understand objects.
eh?
Objects really.
I didn't understand
Any object, suppose an object which we call it as in a book comes, whether that book should be read or not, it's an object. I get tempted to read. If the contents of the book is not going to help me for my inward journey, I should not look at it. That is the resolve. Initially, this is a must.
So morning to evening, all activities should be home.
Something like a sentinel, posted. That is why they say you choose right company. Initially, until we reach that stage from where, when we don't see any inequalities, till such time, we have to be in the right company. Right company of objects, right company of individuals, right company of anything, situations. Try to move away from any such situation.
We have to set very high standards for ourselves.
High time. We have to be very serious. Papa used to say, it is not a joke. Spiritual journey is not a joke. Spiritual life is not a joke. It is not a pastime subject. It is a subject that has to be taken up with all seriousness. And those of you who have got the small book called Glimpses of Divine Vision, suppose you go through that, Papa's various aspects on this seriousness, it has been condensed and brought out, compiled. Every now and then we go through it, I have heard, I should have been more serious, I should have been alert. He uses the same word, vigilance and alertness. Periodical evaluation. Some method we have to use. So the periodical, solitude. The other day we shared, the Jain friend with whom we were working. Morning for 2 hours, he will not talk. Let anybody ask anything. Let any phone call come. He will be inside the puja room, going through the text. After the usual puja or ritual is over, he wants to dwell exclusively on that. And that becomes the capital for his entire dealings. Initially we did not understand, because that was covering all the moral ethical values. And that becomes the capital for his entire day's dealings. So intense absorption. High time we do it, we have been taking it easy. The trustlessness. The problem is at this moment everybody feels the need to become more serious. But the moment the session is over, we are not backing it up with anything. We become one with our routine, which slowly dilutes the thrust we have given during the session. Unknowingly, not knowingly, unknowingly. And that is why we are back to square one. So now we have to be alert. What should I do? I pray to him. You give me that strength and courage to hold on to the resolve. You prompted me to take a resolve to move faster towards you, but at the same time, because of the old habits, the mind has got a tendency to go out and therefore it gets diluted. Please don't allow. Please, in the second chapter, in the third chapter, Adoption of Sannyas, he says, O Ram, bless thy poor devotee with thy grace. May Ramdas be endued with strength, courage and faith to carry out in thy name, Ram, the following vows, and bear all trials and all kinds of privations that may beset the path of a sannyasi in his passage through the rough and perilous life of a mendicant. So Papa himself, with all the preparation, he was not seeking anything from outside. He was seeking the grace of God. So along with all our outer preparation which he facilitates, this also has to be given intense prayer, intense seeking his guidance. O Ram, it is by thy wish alone that thy humble slave has been induced to adopt sannyas. In thy name alone, O Ram, he has given up samsara and cut asunder all bonds and all ties. O Ram, bless thy poor devotee with thy grace. May Ramdas be endued with strength, courage and faith to carry out in thy name, Ram, the following vows and bear all trials and all kinds of privations that may beset the path of a sannyasi in his passage through the rough and perilous life of a mendicant. So instead of sannyas, we can say ardent devotee. Rest of the things are all same. Because the more and more we read In Quest of God, this comes conspicuously, it comes to know. It was in 1920, he says, he starts the book. He says, it was about 2 years ago, that is in 1920, that Ram first kindled in the heart of his humble slave a keen desire to realize his infinite love. And in 1922, he was able to leave. That two words, you kindly think, go through it again and again. At 5 o'clock in the morning, 1922 December 27th, at 5 o'clock in the morning, he bade farewell to a world for which he had lost all attraction and in which he could find nothing to call his own. In 2 years, that is the one we are trying to understand. In 2 years, he could cover the entire thing, 100 years back. So whatever we have read, how God came to me, that is the 1920 to 22 period. Anything else? So we are all preparing, for the exam on 27th. Nobody is telling yes. Huh?
the guidance of Swamiji, everything is going on well.
We need to study more, Swamiji.
Papa is silently watching
Yes.
what my spiritual children are going to do on 27th.
How much study we do, Swamiji, if forget when the exams come?
So now 3-4 days are there for revision, na?
That Papa will help us.
Eh?
Papa will help us.
Ah,
I have that faith. Papa will help me.
no doubt he will help, provided we turn towards him. Switch on your wire for direct communication, no? These are the words. The moment we switch on our wire for direct communication, then our job is over, our studies are over, everything is over. So 27th December 2022 is the exam date for all of us. So let us pray to him. By the time we reach 27th, it should not pass just as an ordinary day. It must have a deep impact in our life. Just like when we pass out our exam, that is the stepping stone for our professional life and social life and personal life also. Everyone would try to settle down with a family and everything only after the exams are over. So similarly, when the exams are over, we move in the direction of settling down in his constant remembrance. So we pray to him, enable us to do well, enable us to feel that 27th is my exam date. Let me not treat it as an ordinary day. Let me try to consolidate all that you have provided till this moment and make use of it and prompt me to take certain resolves, certain decisions, certain vows, so that the journey towards you becomes accelerated and then the fruition of life becomes a reality. So we will have 5 minutes Ram Nam and then close. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai 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 Jai Ram. Sadgurunatha.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om.
Swami.